The Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is the podcast. We are live. Welcome to the Simpsons Index, episode 19, I believe it is. Hi, I'm your host, Elliot J. O'Neill, and joining me tonight in the dank is...
I guess that makes me Niles Crane.
My name is Hans. Drinking has ruined my life. I'm 31 years old.
I should just call myself Daniel.
It's pre-planned, man. Pre-planned.
BT and Danny, great to have you in the dank tonight.
Great to be here in this place you keep calling the dank that I don't know why we're calling it that.
Didn't you notice all the dank everywhere?
It's his way of saying he hasn't done the laundry for a while.
I'll be honest, I don't know what that means other than, like, damp.
Oh,
Is
you
it
can't
damp?
get rid of the dank, Mo. The dank.
Well, now I understand.
So we just watched Season 8, Episode 16, Brother from Another Series. Because tonight, as per the random D&D roll of the last episode we were all together, we are doing a Sideshow Bob special tonight.
The D20 commanded it.
Yep, and the D20 commanded. We watched the Italian Bob. So before we get to that horrible piece of
Horrible.
clown
Don't
crap...
taint their opinions.
Don't take my opinion. I don't think I've seen it.
He hasn't
Really?
seen it.
Is it the one where they're both dressed as Krusty?
No.
No, but anyway, just then we watched the one where we meet Sideshow Bob's brother Cecil.
He's blind and doesn't know he's playing an umbrella. Oh man, that's a good bit.
That's
I
not
didn't know
funny.
what to tell me.
We thought it was funny. That's not funny.
So no, this was the one with Sideshow Bob's brother Cecil. Guys, what'd you think?
Oh, man. So good.
Dude, I did not stop laughing the whole way.
Yeah,
No matter how
great.
much we talk, we're going to miss important points to this.
Very much
Definitely.
so. So this episode, for those that don't know, Sideshow Bob is played by Kelsey Grammer, who had a hit show called Frasier on NBC, as the title card tells us.
Look out for the Fraser Index coming soon.
No.
Excuse me.
No, it's
I mean,
not.
That, you know, actually, Matt Myra from The Nerdist and Kevin Smith have a Frasier podcast.
Wow,
No
really?
kidding.
Yeah.
Man, I think I
Sorry,
should
what
check
were
it
you
out.
saying anyway?
He's a character from Cheers. Fraser's just the spin-off.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, I was just shorthanding it. And
Now we're going to longhand it.
And David Hyde Pierce plays his brother on that show.
You have
Frasier.
to look that up, surely, right?
David Hyde Pierce, no.
Wow, you guys know his name off by heart?
I actually must confess, I only know it because there was the Family Guy bit that had... Oh, and there was a recent controversy today when David Hyde Pierce revealed his testicle at the Emmys. And I just thought that was a great
No
joke.
offense to David Hyde Pierce. I'm very impressed with your work.
Dude, he's a solid actor. So,
yeah, man, but I don't know. It's just one of those names that never stuck in my head for some reason or other.
David Hyde Pierce, never stuck in your head. David Hyde Pierce.
It's because he always appears
DHP,
next to Kelsey
yo.
Grammer, and I'm always just
True.
like, Kelsey? Is that even a name? Kelsey Grammer sounds like a school.
It does.
Kelsey.
I went to Kelsey Grammer for 3 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, what did you think?
So yeah, what did you think?
I think we did this already, but it was
We
amazing. This, like, we can skip straight to the handing out awards and give it top shelf.
Give it all the money?
Give it everything, man.
That's right, all the money.
It was amazing.
Yeah, even the deleted scene of this episode was better than the
Murderously
entirety of a lot of
hilarious.
episodes we've watched. But yeah, so this is like it's telling a twist on the Sideshow Bob story in this one, in that Sideshow Bob has reformed, and you know the show actually kind of rushed through his reforming and finding God or whatever. But I actually thought it worked to the advantage of the show because you, as the audience member, still remain suspicious.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, they play the sinister Cape Fear music when he first gets released and gets in the limo with Cecil, and you're like, you don't know. And I think that's a very, a lot to whether or not...
Ambiguity is really
Yeah,
tense. It's really
it comes from Reverend Lovejoy being, Bob, you've totally reformed him. And again, it comes from Kelsey Grammer, just letting that sink in as an actual name rather than a school. His delivery of, yes, I've truly changed.
Yeah, I mean, they're clearly leaving it ambiguous on purpose.
But very well done. That it's down to the performance and the music cue of just.
And I'm happy with it. Like Elliot was saying before, that it felt a little rushed, going from he's a killer to he's reformed. But to me, it didn't feel like they were doing he's having a change of heart on screen. It felt like, off camera in the past 10 years of his prison sentence or whatever, hang on, we're going to talk about timeline as well, because it's starting to get weird.
It is.
But in the past 10 years of his prison sentence or whatever, he's decided to find God, and we're just coming into him, seeing him already reformed.
Yeah.
And like the rest of the episode makes it seem like, maybe he's not such a bad guy.
He comes off quite well in this. He's actually genuinely reformed, as we find out. And
and even at the end, the reason he did get locked up is because of Chief Wiggins.
Man,
not understanding.
Well,
you were here and you're crazy, so...
So, was that like weak storytelling, like knowing that we had to get back to zero and it was just... like?
I guess it would have been, but you get some good jokes around it, so you don't care.
Yeah, I think it's funnier this way. And if we're really wrapping things up to zero, he started off not in jail. He, like in the Simpsons chronology, you don't have to wrap him up with him back in jail, because he started out not in jail. He started out on the Simpsons Krusty Show.
So the status quo changes.
No, the Krusty Show was in prison.
No. He means like season 2.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Simpsons,
sorry.
He starts out not in jail. Like, if we're wrapping things up neatly, it doesn't have to go back to him being in jail.
Yeah.
That's like a sub-arc.
Well, it shifted the status quo from Sideshow Bob being on the Krusty Show to Sideshow Bob being in prison, which is one of the few rare moments of permanent continuity, along with, Maud Flanders' death. That's there
are very few other ones that do that, right?
Yeah, no, very few. I mean, they most often go out of it. Yeah, octuplets, Apu cheating on Mandula. Sky Grandma, which we still need to figure out what that's all about. Sky Grandma conspiracy.
Lisa's becoming a vegetarian.
Yeah, Buddhist as well. I mean, it comes up very rarely, but it does come up.
So, well, speaking of prison anyway, let's talk about that opening sequence, calling reference to the whole Johnny Cash live at Folsom Prison thing. But yeah, I love that whole song and the last line, I get to sleep at home tonight.
I preferred the opening line, which is live from Springfield's open area penitentiary in cell block D. You're like, nice. Way to just sell every bit as a joke.
Yeah. It was pretty rapid fire, the jokes, like...
the whole way through the show, man. I was just...
Well, yeah, what I really liked about this one is there's a lot of what I feel like a 1-2 punch jokes, as in, there's, you've got Bob bringing back Bart and Lisa after breaking into his trailer, and he's like, especially Lisa, but especially Bart. And then so you got that as a joke, and then immediately you've got, well, I hope Bob fed you because I ate both your dinners.
Yeah. Oh, that was such a great bit.
That's like a pacing thing almost, isn't it? They always seem to pace their punchlines really close to each other.
Yeah.
In little blocks of funny. Just enough time that you haven't got time. You don't get a chance to laugh at joke 1 before joke 2 just...
Yeah, there's a good chance you just laughed over joke 2. But that's why it gives you more each time you watch it. And I think it's just, you didn't have to make a joke there. You could have just landed on the...
I think you're right. There's
especially,
a lot of
but
times
especially.
Even this viewing... I think there's been jokes that I haven't noticed in the past at all.
Well, especially with Cecil and Bob's banter, which is obviously heavily inspired on the Frasier show. But look, I didn't watch Frasier for a good 4 or 5 years after I watched this episode, and I didn't need to. They sort of made the reference, but made it still funny. And
got it. Yeah.
I really would like to go back through their banter again and really study it, because I think there's still jokes that I'm missing through that.
You could easily just write this off as these are two brothers, both of which are fussy and wordy. But you could also, if you did know what the Frasier show was about, you could say, wow, this is a direct homage and parody of the Frasier style of comedy
writing.
You
could almost transfer some jokes from this show over to Frasier.
That's it. The writing style is so well done, it feels like they've got writers from the Frasier team on board.
Yeah, and even as you were pointing out, pretty sure they're using the Niles set there. And,
I'm sure they are.
And in that whole exchange where he describes the wine as indifferent,
as long as it doesn't taste like muddy ditch water.
Yeah,
that'll be
it was fermented orange juice made under a hot radiator.
So that would be the chateau then.
Perfect.
So good.
Yeah, that was great.
And Bart's constantly pursuing him and still not giving up his distrust of him as he did in the Selma episode.
Bart's like unending distrust.
But then shock twist, it was Cecil.
That's right, we're upending that trope here. Ladies and gentlemen, Bart's the crazy one, not being able to give up on his grudge.
No.
Which I think was really cool. I think it really fleshes out Bob's character, watching how earnestly he leaps out and saves the kids, which is something he's done. I'm pretty sure he's done in the past as well. Like kids throw themselves in danger and he saves them from them. Actually, now I'm not sure if it's before or after.
That's something that kind of bugs me of future Bob episodes is that he has a moment of being reformed and saving Bart and actually doing good, but then he just goes back to the old way immediately. I suppose you could say something about, despite the fact that he was the hero of the story, he saved everybody and it didn't matter, so he may as well go back to being murderous. It's just, I don't know, it feels annoyingly inconsistent. I would have liked to have seen the character maybe move somewhere else.
Yeah, it felt like he had a character arc.
I felt like the killer maniac had played out, and maybe we could give him something else now. I don't know what.
Well, because, they even listed his exploits, and by this time you'd already had the Krusty story, the Selma story, the Mayor story, the Cape Fear one, the...
Mayor.
Yeah.
He ran for mayor.
Yeah, and so the one directly after this one was the airshow one where he steals the nuclear weapon.
No, he's done that by now, because he says, I did try to kill everyone with the nuclear
That is
bomb.
when he ran for mayor, isn't it?
No, it's a different one. No, they definitely referenced the nuclear bomb episode in this one. I'm sure they did.
It's a season 9 episode.
Are you sure?
It's okay, guys. It's lucky we're recording this so people can laugh at one of you guys later on.
But anyway, my point is that they listed off all these exploits, and then the very next season he does the airshow one, which totally resets it back to zero and doesn't show any progression on his part.
Yeah.
Which is annoying. And then it's like business as usual when we get to episodes like Day of the Jackanapes and Funeral for a Fiend, which are fucking awful Sideshow Bob episodes.
They get bad. That's all I know.
He kind of turns into like a Halloween trope. Like he gets
totally
episode a year, you know? And everything's back to normal at the end.
Yeah, currently 13 Sideshow Bob episodes, so roughly one every 2 years. They were happening more in the early days than they do now.
That's surprising.
So any quotable moments you want to go
through
before we get the questionnaire?
Oh, man. All right, quick background joke I liked. The prison chapel has stained glass windows with bars over them.
I didn't notice that.
It's just in the background, but they're in the chapel, and pictures of Jesus and the saints and angels all have bars over them.
Man, that's awesome.
It's quietly depressing. Not even in church can you be free.
That just brings me to I really appreciated the animation in this episode, especially the 2 moments of falling, like them going down the hydroelectric water slide, and then later when Bart and Bob are falling down, and
the timing in it was great. It could have been a Roadrunner episode. They really caught the momentum of the water slide to the sudden stop of the grate, and that was just with a fast cut to a shot of the grate, but with the sound effects suddenly disappearing,
the camera keeps going that little bit.
Yeah, the camera keeps going.
Love that.
Man, it was really cleverly done. And then the same thing with the clever camera work in the... I'm sorry to kind of ramble a bit, but the clever camera work in the dam fall, where he does the swing on the dynamite, and then there's like 30 frames of him just kind of back and forth going womp, womp, womp. And then there's this beautiful tense shot of him holding dynamite as he hangs over a cliff edge with the villain at the top with his hand on the trigger. And wow, Hardy Boys couldn't have had it tenser, you know?
And then as they're falling down, and then stop dead
and
on
then
the crotch.
Sudden dead stop. Again, the camera work just brings all this momentum to a shuddering halt, and you're just like, oh, there goes his crotch. There are no little boblets ever turning up.
Oh, so we wish. Wait till we watch the next one. Anyway, one thing I wanted to bring up, and welcome again to another episode of Googling on the Simpsons Index. Can someone look up Arthur Fiedler? Because there's a joke in... and again, you're going to bring it up with the timeline where Bob says this, well, we haven't seen each other since the unpleasantness 10 years ago. He goes, Arthur Fiedler's wake. And I think it was Fiedler, I'm not certain. But anyway, welcome to Googling on Simpsons. Let's wait with bated breath.
Wait for it.
Well, while you're Googling that, I'm trying to look up the Cappadocians, who were apparently the people that would be proud to call themselves Chief Hydroelectric and Hydrodynamic. And Cappadocia is a small arid region in central Turkey and known for its distinctive fairy chimneys.
Don't know what any of that means.
Cappadocians, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it refers to some sort of ancient form of plumbing.
Maybe they invented hydro dams or something.
Sure.
Let's just say it feels like a smart joke.
Look, I'm sorry if I'm offending any Cappadocian listeners that...
Oh, jeez, this one's gonna throw you off, man. It's not hugely funny. Arthur Fiedler, born December 1894, died in July 1979. Was a longtime conductor of the Boston Pops Orchestra, Symphony Orchestra, specializing in pop and light music in Seattle, with combination of showmanship and blah 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 blah. So he was a big name in Seattle, which is where Frasier was set.
And he's a composer, which they would have gone to.
Yeah,
as
so it was like a
Frasier
gag
and
about,
Niles.
oh, they go to fancy composer funerals, you know.
Fuck, so many level above jokes and references.
That's it, man.
But again, that's a very Frasier
it's
joke.
very Frasier.
But to the strength of this episode, in the 20-so years that I've been watching this episode, didn't need to know either of those things anytime to
you don't need to
enjoy
know
the
it.
whole
Doesn't,
episode.
it doesn't focus on it so much that it stops everything else that's going on. You understand they're having this tense relationship.
It's very contextual. It's like, I don't know anything about the two wines that he mentions. I just know that one of them tastes like fucking oranges fermented under a rock.
Totally. And yeah, there were a few good sign gags in this episode. You're making a mistake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, on the picket line as Bob is released.
Yeah. And crime, yes. Criminals, no. Fantastic.
So good.
How can we go any further without mentioning, oh, yes, shake it, madam.
Capital knockers.
Capital knockers.
Yeah, I want to put that along with "You've got a butt that won't quit." Surely yours. Is a
Submitting
butt
those
that
to
won't-
the crown jewels of quotes.
Yeah, no, I like to.
They
think...
are world's sexiest quotes, I believe.
Yeah, no, I want to be able to walk up to women in bars and say those things because they'd be
Yours
amazing.
is a butt that won't quit.
Surely,
Beach, no, you gotta come on, give it to us in your sexy voice.
surely yours is a butt that won't quit, and those are capital knockers, madam.
Oh, I got a little fluttery, I gotta admit.
Let's see.
I felt really good about my knockers.
You should. They are capital.
I love Milhouse's line, maybe he'll pee in the river.
It's not his style. Let's see. And God bless Mom and Dad and Lisa and Maggie, and also God kill Sideshow Bob. No, you do your own dirty work.
Yeah. And of course, my favorite line from what might be my favorite line in the whole series, Bart, that was a Knickerbobble. You only get one shot with
Edgar
Knickerbobble.
Krabappel.
Yeah.
Along with
See, that's a great gag that rewards, repeated viewers of The Simpsons, because if that was the first episode you'd saw, you'd be like, oh man, he missed out on a one-time chance. But if you've seen it before, you know that.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's like, because you've seen her with every man in town, but have you seen her with any man twice?
Ooh.
you only get one chance. And before
And then
that,
she moves on, because she's just like a bicycle. Yo.
no,
Yeah,
she's
man.
a bicycle with standards, motherfucker. All right, you've
Kick
also
standards.
got great little.
Oh! No, let's
No.
keep moving.
Sorry, what was
Sorry.
that? What was that, BT?
Yeah, take that again. He's got Bob says, "Oh yes, and all those years you spent at Cloud College. I'll thank you not to refer to Princeton that way."
It's pretty derpy, but I love the bit with I'm working with a bunch of slack-jawed yokels. Come quick, Mr. Terwilliger.
Yeah.
And they set a dog in concrete, and his butt flap, springs open and shows his butt.
It's weak humor. Like it's cheap. No, not weak. It's cheap humor. But it is done very well. So I mean,
Because it's put against all these other jokes we had to look up.
Yeah, we just need a good butt
Yeah.
flap.
So when you've got a butt flap joke with some boing sound effects, then that's great.
Yeah.
The only other line I have is when Bart yells, "Get him, Lise!"
oh my god, that was amazing.
But there are so many other jokes.
So just on that bit, I still don't understand why Lisa isn't more of a focus of Sideshow Bob's rage, because if anything, she had more of a part in his being locked away than Bart did.
Well, I suppose Bart is the originator.
Yeah.
I feel like Lisa. How am I going to say this without sounding awful? I feel like Bart is the one with the intent, and he's using Lisa like a calculator to get the work done.
That is largely
you
true.
know?
Plus, the first two times, Bart's figured out that Bob framed Krusty, and then Bart figured out he was planning to kill Selma.
Yeah.
And everyone
Bart
else
had
there.
the big
Lisa's
reveals as
Lisa's
well.
That's
been
true.
there.
Lisa didn't have anything to do with the
Sherlock
Selma one.
moment.
Yeah, so Lisa's certainly helped from that point on, but it's always been Bart as the suspicious instigator.
Oh, well,
of
yeah,
everything.
she did help with Krusty Gets Busted, the first one, but
But
yeah,
she also
you're
needed
right.
convincing first, because she had wholeheartedly accepted. That's from a viewer perspective, I suppose, not so much from a Bob's perspective.
Well, no, it actually brings up the good point that even me and Dave and Liz were discussing, is that in that episode, like, Lisa clearly has an affinity with Sideshow Bob and,
Yeah,
like,
and as I think
respects his intelligence.
As you mentioned, the fact that he was in classing up television was certainly in her vein. So
Maybe Bob doesn't doesn't go after Lisa. He respects her intelligence. He sees her as an intellectual equal.
Yes.
Whereas,
I like it. I mean, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
doesn't that make
I
sense?
planned
It feels
crimes
right.
devious enough for only you to solve.
and
Get me
then like
forgotten.
Bart, he seems to basically stumble
Yeah.
onto the proof that ruins all his plans. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
He's not smart or clever, or he doesn't undo the key of the lock to solve this shit. He just like, oh, you know what? He does really, but
But he shouldn't be able
he
to.
shouldn't be able to. No, he is
From
not.
from Bob's perspective, here is an idiot who keeps besting all his intelligent moves. To be beaten by Lisa, who's a child prodigy, okay, fine.
Yeah.
To be beaten by Bart, who's a child moron, that shouldn't happen, and I suppose it insults his intelligence so much that he must destroy this child.
Especially if it keeps on fucking happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're the chess champion and you beat everyone at the chess championship, and then you go home and fucking Urkel beats you. Not Urkel. Derpel. Damn.
We are getting kind of derailed here,
Yeah,
but
We
I got
are.
distracted. Urkel was the wrong choice.
But
to
you
go
know
to.
what?
Alright.
From this point on, I think Bob wants to kill Bart because he ruined his chance with Edna Krabappel, and you only get one chance with Edna Krabappel.
I like it. All right, let's hit the questionnaire. So, again, not really an A-B sort of storyline, just more how the one thing affects multiple people sort of thing.
Yeah, even that, I call this all A. I can't think of anything I would describe as being a B or C story.
Well, it's like Bart's suspicion is just an element, as is...
There's
I suppose
sort
the
of-
A
in
is-
the early area. There's the Bob line and the Bart line.
Yeah, but
You know?
what becomes the dominant A is the Bob and Cecil line.
Yeah.
And
Bob and Bart becomes the B, I suppose. But it's still
Sort of.
it's so part of the dominant A.
Yep. But do you remember watching this episode back in the day?
oh yeah.
So, season 8, 97, 98-ish.
It was a good year.
Yeah?
And, you know, I think a large part of that is because this episode just warms the inside of your chest in a way that very few other things in life can.
Yeah.
Well, it's an episode that you notice more every time you watch it.
Oh,
and that's
definitely.
always a mark of the good
Definitely.
ones, is that you're like, I didn't get that ball, that's hilarious.
When I was a kid, this was a medium episode, you know?
Yeah.
It was funny, it was exciting, it had the big dam buster, it felt like a Die Hard or a cliffhanger sort of episode.
Yep.
And now I look back, now that I'm watching it, it's just like no holds barred thrill ride. It does not stop with wit in its pacing and its timing and its clever humor, as well as contrasted with its dumb humor.
Absolutely.
Oh,
And, you know, and it rewards you for being a repeated Simpsons viewer and a repeated Frasier viewer as well. See, when I probably started watching Frasier a little bit, I never got fully into it, but just a little bit a few years later, like, I really appreciated when the penny dropped and I realized, you know, Cecil was his brother on the show, and made that connection and was like,
and they had
oh
the
my
title
God.
card
And then,
in the episode.
yeah, and then all the synapses fired and it made sense how many Frasier references they made, and it was really, I really appreciated it.
you know, I didn't actually mention this on camera, on microphone. That's how we say on camera.
It's an audio camera.
Thank you. It's the worst thing I've ever said. I haven't mentioned this on camera, but in retrospect, it's such a strange choice. No, it's such a clever choice for, like, Sideshow Bob, who is voiced by Fraser Crane. And that was done in such a dry way. Who's the driest, least clown voice we can have to be the sidekick? And they're like, you know, Fraser Crane. He's like savvy intellectual with a really dry, kind of boring voice. Oh, man.
Look, it's the kind of guy you need to bring in when you need to rethink how you think about pies.
It's amazing. Lord Autumnbottom. We didn't mention Lord Autumnbottom.
We did just now.
Yeah.
I found a way to actually naturally
that was-
segue it
that
into
was
the conversation.
dope.
You ruined it by mentioning
that was a really clever move by the Simpsons in season 2 or whatever when they bring him in. you're gonna be like, actually, it was season 3, episode 4.
Xylophones.
But for them to go the step further and be like, well, let's bring in Frasier's brother as Sideshow Bob's brother, and wow, they have the actor, but they also have the characters built in.
They have that very quick reference to Maris.
They dropped Maris. Oh my god!
Which again, I don't think I got the first pass through, but after I'd watched Frasier, and she is as well.
Because again, another thing
Frasier,
that rewards
that kind of goes on the whole all the way through Frasier. Just saying that for the audience, by the way.
Yeah, again, another reward for a repeated Frasier viewer, definitely. So, question Trey. Were there any jokes you only noticed on this viewing? Oh, we sort of really covered that.
Arthur Fiedler.
Yeah, and Cappadocians and...
Cappadocians, which actually is pretty funny.
Yeah.
They were all about aqueducts.
Oh, you know that?
Yeah, it's true facts. He was right on the money.
Oh, okay. So, how many times do you think you've seen this one?
More than many an episode.
Mm.
And yet, here I am watching this one yet again, and not only just being amazed at the timing and the funnies, but also getting more laughs out of it every time I see it. I'm still finding more jokes to laugh at. The Cappadocians.
The Cappadocians.
Yeah, now I'm laughing at it, at how obscure and nerdy the Frasier joke is, because, man, they just dropped Frasier gags everywhere. But also, they went and found a culture that is all about aqueduct culture. And they're like,
They weren't the Romans,
man, hydro architects are, the best.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, for those reasons, it is worth revisiting again, you guys would say?
Oh, totally.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Let's do it next week.
So yeah, I forgot to mention this. I've probably seen it, I don't know, 50 times maybe.
Yeah.
It's one that comes on, and you want to sit down and watch it every single time.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about the wackiness of this episode. I think the wacky elements were pretty much just all, when the dam's coming down and the tension's high, and they're like doing action movie moves.
Yeah,
at the
Bob
end
manages to catch Bart by swinging by a bomb's fuse,
and they manage to break their fall on his balls.
That was wacky,
and it recovers immediately.
I mean, it's unrealistic, but I don't know if it's wacky.
It's action movie.
The cat, it's hero stuff. Hero always catches the falling victim.
But that's as wacky as it gets for this one. It's not necessarily wacky, but it's
I would say the wacky is my dog's in Samantha. He ain't dog no more. And then poing, there goes his fucking butt flap.
Clearly,
That's wacky.
you have never played catch near a cinematic mixer before.
No, but I think my butt flap buttons have been double stitched.
Yeah,
I ain't never gone poing.
La-di-da, you can afford double stitched butt flap buttons.
But
that shit's whack, yo. That was pretty wacky.
Take your Fifth Avenue manicure and
it was
get out.
wacky. Yeah, it went boing. That is universal symbol for wacky behavior.
No, but I think you hit the head on the nail before when you said, like, we needed that gag to balance out all the Frasier shit. Like,
how much more wacky did it feel compared to the two driest characters on the planet, Niles and Frasier?
Yeah.
Next to Homer, it would have just been like Homer and his mates Larry, Curly, and Moe.
Different show.
That was
Moe's
so
accurate.
close.
I know.
I wonder if that's how they named him that way. Lenny,
Carl, and Moe.
Thank you.
Maybe, but then Moe is like the odd one out of actually being directly referencing.
Lenny, Carl, and Moe.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I know.
Busting this shit wide open.
We're through the looking glass. I said this last episode.
It may be a repeated catchphrase for us.
I think so.
T-shirts. So I don't actually think there's a lot of heart in this episode because even when you're meant to feel heart for Sideshow Bob because he's reformed, like, even that bit, like I said, it was kind of rushed through, like, to still give the audience, like, some suspicion of him. So, and then when he goes into prison at the end, it wasn't for any real reason. It was just a derpy Wiggum thing. So, I don't know.
Elliot, I'm going to cut you off, man. Because to me, this was actually a really heartfelt episode. To me, personally, at least. Like,
as a reformed criminal, you
As a reformed criminal. Yeah. No, I mean, not to you, but to me, at least. Yes, they kind of brushed over him deciding to be a good person in the sense that it felt like it happened before the episode started. But to me, like, watching him try to be good again, and like just when he first gets out of jail and Bart keeps popping up when he goes out on dates and when he goes out on the shit.
This psychotic point, hit right here.
And then Wiggum turns around and is just like, "No, don't worry, I'm sure I'll give up soon."
Yeah, I love that. He says that now, but he'll give up pretty quick.
Yeah, but to me, like watching Bob earnestly try to be a good person, and just getting shut down by this kid that won't accept the change.
You're saying it's an allegory for how society will not accept a ex-con?
Man, yeah, Bob is. I mean, Bart is the conservative that won't accept change as to a human.
I would say Bart is the representation of the undying suspicion once you know someone is an ex-con.
It was really sad for me to watch.
Let's appreciate that Edna Krabappel walks away only when he's referred to as Sideshow Bob.
Yeah.
Not because he doesn't say anything.
Terwilliger.
He's not Robert Terwilliger, he's Sideshow Bob, and that's when she walks away. And you only get one chance with Edna Krabappel.
Man, and it is Bart that screws that up. It's not Bob. He does nothing. He is charming as fuck.
Oh, yeah, that great line.
Well,
you know, I did try to kill the world's greatest lover, but there are laws against suicide.
Oh, Bob. You're so suave.
Oh, my God, I'm swooning you guys right now. Put your penises away, please.
Never!
Please tell me, did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
Oh, totally.
Yeah. I gotta say, it felt like
Through and
when the
through.
Simpsons, like, grabbed little bits from other shows, like when they did that critic crossover, and they fucking nailed it then. They fucking nailed it here.
Yep.
Definitely. It was, the timing and pacing was just top shelf Simpsons. It was funny all the way through, and it was paced really well, so the jokes just kept you going. There was lots of, to me at least, there was lots of heart. There was shock twists again and again. Shock twist, Bob isn't evil. Shock twist, his brother is evil. Shock twist, Bob is good and gonna save the thing. Shock twist, bomb going off. Shock twist, bomb not going off. I can keep going, but hey, we've got to save some things for the audience.
But I think what we really would appreciate about this as well, that none of it felt like hackily delivered either.
Oh,
like,
No, this was seamless. It was beautiful.
And all the action tropes were beautifully ripped out of really big action movies.
He goes to cut a dynamite with a wire cutters.
What's the one with the one-armed man and the bit with the dam and the thing?
The Fugitive.
Fugitive, man, right down the slippery slide. The Fugitive slippery slide, by the way, famous scene.
And that leads me into the quotable moments, because with that whole scene where when Bart's like, oh, just to think the town could have been completely destroyed, and then the dam breaks anyway.
Oh, of course.
It's very Simpsons.
Tidal wave goes through the town. Homer opens the door, sees Ralph.
Oh,
I think I wet
Ralph.
my bed.
Cut.
Man,
Awesome.
beautiful. Perfect person to cut to afterwards. I mean, they're like, well, we just had a water wave destroy the town. Well, how can we salvage this in a funny way?
Ralph.
Wet the bed. Boing. That
Ralph
was
Wiggum is the
exactly it.
personification of boing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, it worked totally for this.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys have any other quotable moments before we...
That we haven't yelled yet.
I'm sure we could keep going.
There are going to be more we
actually,
didn't get because there were so many. It was great. I'm going to stick with "Shake It, Madam." Capital knockers.
Yeah, go to Frinkiac and, share that meme
Text
around
your loved
Facebook.
one, capital knockers. Assuming she's a woman, of course. Don't text the man that. That's going to get weird.
No, but men out there.
You can text your door that. If you love a door, text her that it has a capital knockers.
Oh, 20 points. Not topping that
Thank you, ladies and
gag.
gentlemen.
Let's rank this thing. Danny, kick it off, my man.
I'm giving it cubic zirconia, man. I literally could not improve this if I tried hard. If I had a team of comedy writers, this could not have gotten better. And it's not just the gags, it's the pacing was amazing. The camera work was beautiful, which is weird to say about a cartoon show, but
They got to think about their frames and how that delivers a
they
story.
put a lot of work into it.
The animation is beautiful in this episode.
Yeah, and like the gags, the Fraser Nile stuff is just gorgeous. And nearly lost my microphone.
But you didn't.
How
That's
about you,
important.
BT? Where are you
I
leaning?
started off sitting at a silver gold, thinking maybe I'd give this a gold at the best, but then no, we got to the episode proper, everything hit full swing, QZ, cubic zirconia. It's everything we love about The Simpsons. It's tight writing, great jokes, quick delivery, great plotting, great characters, everything. So yeah, cubic.
And to add to that, mine's also a cubic zirconia, because this is everything we love about a Sideshow Bob episode. You know, you've got the comedy, but you also have an actual crime thriller element here. And this is like an evolution of the Sideshow Bob episode, where he's usually the focus, and now it's telling, him from a different reformed angle. Anyway, absolutely, QZ, check this episode out. It's essential. Maybe watch a couple of the Bobs before it. But anyway,
build up to this
next in our Sideshow Bob-A-Thon.
Bob along.
Can you play me the Sideshow Bob theme music,
Sorry, I'm
please?
just now stuck on Sideshow Bob Sideshow.
Beat. Sing Cape Fear.
Bow, 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 bow.
And then the drums. So we are going to be watching Season 17, Episode 8, The Italian Bob.
Oh, I both can and can't wait.
I haven't seen this one, and I'm
Ladies
looking
and
forward to
gentlemen, this is my band-aid. This is the one I remember hating the most of anything ever.
The dice
Wow.
clearly hate you too.
No, the dice loved me because it knew I wanted to hate it. I love you, dice.
it. Beat, you're sick. You're sick and I like it.
Fuck off. And it was a spotty man whispered to Super Ted. God! Get it right.
Oh, Menulog has confirmed our order by Bambino's Torino Pizza. Will it be decent pizza? We'll find out after this. And we're back. Guys, we just watched Season 17, Episode 8, The Italian Bob, or as they say in Italy, El Italiano Bobo. Guys,
Watch it. Oh,
El Watto did you thinky?
Okay, first of all, stop that.
Come on, my Italian is impeccable.
Episode over. This is bam. Mic drop right there.
Yeah, you can just walk away confident from this episode. Well, as loyal listeners, I'm sure we have those, will know this episode was decided by not only by the dice,
The
but
D20.
by, I think I mentioned early on, this was my most hated episode. So it was genuinely interesting to see if it was as bad as I remember, or if it maybe had some merits beyond. It's as bad
Merits?
as I remember. Not Maris. We never see Maris. We do see the merits, and they're not here. That's the difference.
Oh man, this is so lacking in merits.
Oh, so...
Look, just to kick
so
off the
lacking.
conversation, this is a structural fucking mess. Like, they're just jumping from set piece to set piece
It's
with...
disgusting. It's embarrassing.
You know
It's
what,
embarrassing.
Let's just synopsize quickly. So Mr. Burns decides he needs a new car because the children of the elementary school make fun of him, of course.
Whoa. No, the children.
Something happened before that?
It starts off with the safety film.
And I liked
Yeah.
that intro gag. It's probably one of the only gags I liked from this
I'll
episode
get to the
where...
gags and the very beginning, which I actually liked, which made me believe maybe I remember this.
Yeah,
episode.
Krabappel's like, Willie, wheel in the TV, and he does, and the kids are like, yay! And then the TV's like PBS, and they're like, oh.
But then it's
and
like-
then they're like, in association with Production Association of Canada. Oh.
But I do like that moment of the kids wheeling the TV, and
Yeah.
that was very much, I think, a universal experience.
Oh.
No matter where you got educated in this world,
Yeah.
that
Then
moment
there
they
was this
wheel in the
weird,
TV.
Like, racism gag, wasn't there? Wasn't there about Willie?
There was this-
Enjoy your tolerance film, you fucking dicks.
yeah, Willie being intolerant of the concept of intolerance.
Yeah.
It landed better than I just said it, which at this point I was like, okay, maybe I've judged this episode too harshly. Maybe this was the first bad one I saw, and it's really not that bad considering everything else. But then it becomes a complete fucking train wreck that drove into a shitstorm, and that shitstorm flew into a fan, and it became a shit fight.
Alright, so looking at one...
sorry. No, I was thinking of it like they wheel in the TV that's like, and now Diversity Films presents a diverse picture of racial cultures, and then it cuts to like the
that
Simpsons
was so
one
weird.
ethnically diverse character of Scotty, Willie, as he wheels out the TV, and he's like, "Enjoy diversity, bitches." And everyone's like,
yeah.
"Yay!"
And then that film itself was really weird, that...
But at that point, I'm giving it enough, and this is someone from who knows they hate this episode, I'm giving it enough good faith that it's intentionally awkward.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's all just a setup to lead to, oh, well, children, if you don't like it, you can stare out the window. Oh, look, Mr. Burns with his old car's out the window. And then he takes a
wasn't
photo
that
and
like
says, stand there for 72 minutes.
Oh my god!
This was so hacky delivered. So anyway, this all leads to Mr. Burns feeling insecure about his cars because the kids made fun of him. So he gets a Lamborghini Fastarossa, which is... I found a way to describe these gags, which is a parallel import gag. You know, because The Simpsons, they've tried to do gags where they
yep.
call Star Wars Cosmic Wars and Jar Jar Binks Jim Jam Bonks.
So it's a parallel import. I get it.
And so the thing is, you know, they're changing the name because they don't want to get sued. And this is what parallel import things do. Like, you know,
like
when you go to the
Shinnin.
you go to the $2 shop and instead of Palmolive, you see Palmolive or...
Yep.
Yeah,
I
Sanyo
like
instead
it.
of Sony.
Yeah, I know a genuine Panasonics or whatever it was. Yeah, it's a Sony.
Yeah, we'll stick with Shinin instead of Shining.
Yeah. So
Wanna
anyway,
get sued.
yeah, the shinning. So yeah, this leads to Mr. Burns coming to Homer, which I like this gag as well. He's just like humming and he's bashing the control desk of his safety inspector nuclear power job, and it's flashing up Meltdown behind him. I thought that was a good gag.
It was
really a reason for him to be bashing the keyboard. Was that
No,
just
but
for the song?
I don't know what song he was singing, but it was like, sisters are doing it, and he's like smashing the pad along, and it's just saying Meltdown. But anyway, Burns walks in and goes, oh, go to Italy and take your family, and...
Yep.
Do I have to spend time with them? Yes.
Oh, that was so bad. Such a
bad.
jerk-ass
But
Homer
it's
moment.
not even that. There's that... I can't remember which episode it is, but there's one where Mr. Burns goes, What's that fellow who always gets in trouble when I put him in charge of things? Homer Simpson? Yes, let's get him in charge. We haven't seen him for a while. It was like, at least they acknowledge their own. But in this, he literally just does it. You.
Who's
And
that,
then before
that
we...
boob from Section 7G.
Yeah, and then before
Who's the
we
one
know...
the camera follows? Let's hire him.
And before we know it, they're on the plane to Italy, and they go to Italy, and then they pick up the car, and Marge is like, oh, well, let's just spend more time in Italy. And they're like, okay. And
Flawless
then
Marge.
gags ensue.
We're in Pisa. We're in another place that's a thing. And the blah, 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 blah. If you live in a country that the Simpsons have visited, you know what this feels like.
Yeah. But, I mean, at least, you know, I feel sorry for Italy because the Australia episode was fucking awesome. Like,
It was still funny as hell, yeah.
Yeah. This one is just an embarrassment.
So much. I have so many, I've got 2 notes of good, and then everything else is awful. I like the couch
leading into-
gag, I like the TV going to class, the rest is terrible.
Yeah. Couch gag, again, good, you know. Deal out the playing
It
cards.
was just like the first 2 shots of the whole thing.
Yes. Damn.
Yeah, tell me about it. It goes downhill from here.
So
So there's
much.
the aeroplane gag where Homer's pulling at the wires and all of a sudden an engine drops up into Cletus's farm and then
Cletus
Brandine goes, oh, you're a good provider. You're the best husband and son I ever had.
Before that, we've got Mr. Burns. Mr. Burns falling asleep while taking a photo is a grandpa joke, not a Mr. Burns joke.
Yes, you're fucking on the
pissed
money
me off
there.
because that was just. It's not what he does. You can embarrass Mr. Burns by being out of touch, being far too rich, far too old, don't understand what the fuck is going on. That's when he's funniest. When he's got like, oh, you know, am I too late for the 1214 autogyro? Or fill her up with petroleum distillate post haste? Or I'm sure the manual and indicate, which is the accelerometer, which is the deceleromatrix. That's where he's at his funniest. But this is just not even his vernacular of jokes.
Yeah.
I hate this one. I have a lot to say.
Initially, I liked when they landed in Italy, and Bart's like, "Why is there a Canadian flag on your bag, Lisa?" And she's like, you know, I don't think foreigners view Americans favorably over the last actions of 5 years, you know." And that's like perfect because at the time, you know, this is very much Bush era politics, and
Yeah, what year was this did this come out?
17, so like 2006.
Okay.
So yeah, we're very much in the midst of the war of Iraq, and yeah, there were, you know, stories of Americans doing that, putting Canadian flags and saying they're Canadian. But then it undoes itself with the Homer thing, where he's coming in with his don't get away from my flag, fucking yay for Texas and everything, and it's like.
Portland, Oregon. They come from Portland. Why are they yelling about Texas?
So then they're at Pisa, and then it's like Homer's like, "Oh my God, finally we're here, a McDonald's where you can get booze." Whoop whoop.
Yeah, womp womp. Which would have been fine had everything leading up to it not suck so much balls. Sweaty, ugly, dirty balls.
Shag, you look befuddled. Tell me, do you remember the Pompeii gag?
It's I don't even. It's not even the gag that throws me off. It's the pacing of the whole show. Like the cuts are too fast, and all the it's the cuts too fast. Every shot is for like 20 seconds less than it should be, just to feel like a Simpsons episode. It feels like a sketch show because they're trying to get through
Yes.
Yeah.
way too much material in this really quick span of time. And it keeps cutting from scene to scene to scene with the most tenuous of links because you're not supposed to be paying attention to the plot. You're just supposed to laugh at the gag and then laugh at the next gag because we're the ADD generation.
Well, it makes me think because this episode is very indicative of what I hate, which is the Family Guy syndrome of the time, where it felt like the Simpsons lowered themselves to the level of Family Guy by just being set-piece joke. And not that I have a problem with the earlier seasons of Family Guy, but it did get very hacky very quickly. And just while I'm on the subject, they did a joke about the play
notebook, and it is just filled
with
It
hate.
looks like you've written 60 pages.
I
Holy
do want to.
shit.
I do want to
Most
quickly.
of them say boo.
Just boo. I do want to quickly thank you, man, for articulating the hatred that I can't quite exactly put into
You're too
words.
filled with hatred to articulate.
Exactly.
properly.
I understand. You're wordless with anger, and it's right. It's righteous. Like, I'm sorry, I haven't really been
Righteous,
talkative
wordless anger?
in this. I haven't been too talkative in this episode. I just don't know how to put it into words, and he's right.
You did a good job.
He's got this strange feeling that's not The Simpsons.
No, it's-
and the way it's cut, the way it's directed.
Can I bring it back to the Family Guy point? Is because they did the whole thing with the let's look at people who have committed crimes, and it shows a picture of Sideshow Bob. Then they're flipping the page, shows a picture of Peter Griffin, goes plagiarismo, shows a picture of Stan Smith from American Dad, plagiarismo to plagiarismo. So sort of implying that Peter Griffin was a rip-off of Homer and Stan was a rip-off of rip-off.
Cheapening The Simpsons as a series.
Absolutely. And
They're
in an
above
episode
that sort
where
of
they are
shit.
clearly ripping off a Family Guy formula.
Well, not even that. It's a very punch-down humor thing. I mean, The Simpsons is bigger than Family Guy, so when they make fun of him, that feels like they're punching the little guy.
Absolutely.
You
and-
always punch up in comedy. It's a very simple rule.
Yeah. Every
Yeah.
other series that brings The Simpsons in and they're like, ha ha, we're so much funnier than these motherfuckers. That's cool because they are the little team.
Yeah.
And Simpsons is the king of the cartoon industry by 500 fucking years.
Yeah, they are The Simpsons. They're an institution right now. It's
Yeah, it's petty.
Yeah.
It's petty. And the whole episode has been driven in that same sense where the greater sense of plot or arc or coherence
Yeah,
makes way
logic,
for
coherence,
every
anyway.
tiny scene being one little gag, and the next scene, as long as it's a gag, doesn't
Yeah,
matter if
it's
it ties to the
it's a
first scene.
sequence of little self-contained bad
For
jokes
real.
that become a
Like,
string of
so
fucking bullshit.
There's an endpoint to the story, and it's not tied to the beginning of the story. It's just tied to the last gag, which is tied to the gag before, which is tied to the gag.
Yes.
It's like a rickety
But
little
tenuously,
bridge.
yeah.
Which,
we look at
And
that
the short
because
round's like, we can cross the strong bridge, and you're like, no, bad short round. Sorry, I just
that's it, man. Every little rung of that bridge is like a different gag that could have been in any episode.
And another episode which is does the whole thing of like Act 2 is where the story actually starts.
Yeah,
So the turn of Act 1 going into Act 2 was where they say, "Oh, you're stuck in Italy, but don't worry, our mayor speaks Italian."
And who could that mayor
Man,
be?
Oh my
Sideshow
god!
Bobo.
Who would have suspected in an episode called the Italian Bob in the Sideshow Bob-A-Thon?
Terrible.
It's just...
And then he gets the weakest motherfucking tenuous connection for being there. Suddenly he's mayor of the town.
I kind of like the bit where he became a player in Italy because of his big feet smashing the grapes. But look, to me,
Man,
it would have made
he's-
more sense if he
no,
became the head.
he's
No,
like-
let me finish. If he became the head of a wine company.
That would have made more
Yeah,
sense rather than just
sure.
a fucking mayor.
Oh yeah, no, look, that'll make a little more sense. But I mean, he's like, where should I go? Spin globe,
Oh,
bam,
that was so
Africa,
bad.
nope. Spin globe, China, nope. Spin
Spin
globe,
Shelbyville,
North Korea,
nope.
No,
nope.
but he wasn't...
Then he's like, oh fuck it, I'm just gonna go to fucking
The boot.
Florence, Italy,
Florence,
whatever.
Whatever. It's in Italy. But not even that. It was just like, he just comes home from a day of trying to murder Bart as though that's his day-to-day job.
Yeah.
And just decides, you know what, I'm just going to leave. And it's like,
That's a solid
you didn't have to
point.
leave the country.
That part wasn't really.
There were jokes to be made there of
It was
him
extra. Yeah, it was
constantly
totally
failing to kill a
extra
10-year-old
the story.
boy and getting
Like-
nowhere. And he's just... But it's just, I just decided to come here. And then I will say, quick joke I did like when he's in Italy trying to correct the Italian people's pronunciation of Italian.
Oh man,
I do like that joke. Very quick. The only saving grace.
What, where the woman spits on him after she tries
No,
to
then
eat?
it ruins it by having her spit on him. But
Yeah,
I feel like
'cause I was
you're
gonna
getting
say.
lazy on the
Before that,
pronunciation on the end there.
You're right. Like, the Simpsons is like, how did you get to Italy? And he's like, well, I'll tell you. It all started in this little day when I
don't forget-
decided to go to Italy.
Yeah, don't
And
forget
that's
the
his story.
wonderful joke where Homer's like, this story better have a beginning, middle, and end, and maybe root for the protagonist.
Yeah,
Because,
like weak as shit.
I need a beer break.
Again, they put too much value in the Homer going, oh, and there better be a, or, and
Yeah.
Homer
Yeah.
whispering something. They put too much value in the
punctuating-
delivery of Homer,
In
the
punctuating the
character.
story with jokes that aren't funny.
No, it's, where they're relying on the delivery, and it's not there.
But his story is just. So, why did you decide to go to Italy? And then he says, well, once upon a time, there was this day where I decided to go to Italy. And that's the end of his story. What the fuck is that? What kind of why do we waste?
Well, no, he became the mayor of the town because he was able to process more grapes by having big feet to stomp them with. And he sung that these feet were made for stomping.
Oh man,
Terrible.
Yeah, it's like,
but
Kelsey Grammer can sing, let's make him sing
So anyway,
something.
logically, because he can stomp grapes, he becomes the mayor, and logically, he has a family now, and logically, his son is filled with the memories of hatred and murdering Bart Simpson. Bart, vendetta! Vendetta! Did you like that, kid?
It's
Gino Sideshow Bob. No. Oh my god, I have not seen so much murderous.
such a weak plot device, and
We have an Italian family now.
disgusting.
Oh,
And Gino steps on the little Rex
Also-
and does his little...
also-
So much rage.
How old was that boy? Anyone?
1, 2.
No, he's got language. He's like fucking vendetta, kill, the Simpsons.
he's older than Maggie.
He's old.
It makes no
This is
sense.
where I'm getting to. Yeah, because Bart's still 10. Maggie is 1 or 2 at the most.
All right, we've clearly had a lot of rage about this episode because we're running a little bit over. Let's shoot through some other
But I
bits.
have so many more complaints.
Let's
man,
shoot
I
through our
could keep
complaints.
going.
I just want to quickly point out the whole.
Elliot
Sideshow
just
Bob's
wants to quickly poop.
There's no quick
I
poop
totally
here.
said that. I just want to quickly point out the whole Homer acting like Mussolini on the balcony. And
Bit strange.
Lisa
as
was
a
like,
gag
hey, don't do
choice.
Mussolini. And then Homer was like, I'm doing Trump. And it's
Yeah,
like,
which feels weird now.
Homer and the meat grinder.
Fuck off.
Oh
Look,
man.
I'm all for a disgusting gag, but there's certain things I like The Simpsons for, and not to sound too conservative or anything, because I'm not. I fucking love dick
Was
and
there
fart and meat grinder jokes, but this
Was
one
there
was
a gay
disgusting.
thing about him sucking on the meat spout?
Sucking on some freshly minced pork.
No, it was a joke, but it wasn't a joke. It was, here's Homer doing something fat.
Yes.
Yeah, it
And
was.
it's
He
like-
was sucking on raw meat
No,
out of a meat grinder.
Fuck off. I hate everything about this episode now.
And I don't know, I've seen blood orgy jokes that were less disgusting than that.
I've told dead baby jokes that were more fun. Okay, quick bit I hated was when they're getting the car, they're like, it is the perfect marriage of design and technology, and Marge just goes, ooh, marriage. No joke. It's her just
fuck
going,
is
ooh,
that?
marriage. It's like, yeah, Marge's main thing in life is marriage. That's what she lives for, apparently.
It's
just-
such a,
To the equivalent is...
bad writing. You're
It's
bad
fucking
writers.
terrible writing. 'Cause it's like, if you had someone say jazz and Lisa went, ooh, jazz, that makes sense because she loves jazz.
Yes.
Because it implies that Marge's whole thing is being married, and it's just boring and stupid. It makes no fucking sense.
Nope. The joke with Wiggum fucking bursting into the children's party and shooting it up, and there was the Penn State banner.
It's like, I told you Sideshow Bob left here ages ago. And it's like, then why did you shoot the place, Luke? 'Cause I saw you pulling the fucking trigger on your on your MR.
Exactly. They launched 200 rounds into a birthday party and miraculously didn't hit one of the 4 just to make a shitty Penn State joke.
AR-16 Type B.
By the way, I don't actually get the whole Penn State thing. What?
It's not to get. It's just, a Penn State banner. Well, we have something in common, I guess. I don't know. This is a terrible bit, but it's padding out time. Waka waka.
Fair enough. I will research. That's the other thing. I need to eat crow because Sideshow Bob's Last Gleaming, the nuclear bomb episode, that was before Brother from Another Series. He did mention it in the episode.
How does that crow taste?
It's bitter, but a little sweet because, I can swallow the crow, man. I can swallow my pride.
That's all right. I mean, according to the poem, 4 in 20 blackbirds taste great in a pie, so just cook another 41 blackbird crows into that pie. You'll be fine.
Yep.
Anyway, things I hate.
And we're back!
They throw in the Cape Fear music for no reason. Unlike the previous episode where it was used brilliantly to throw suspicion on whether or not Bob was actually reformed, here it's just here because Bob is here and of course his fucking music is here.
Look,
then he walks on a rake for no goddamn reason. Why is there a rake in the middle of his fucking office?
Yeah, and a mini rake for Gino to step on as well.
I also I just turned your indicators red.
Mini
right
rake. The mini rake is crazy.
Sorry, editing, Elliot.
You turned the mixer's indicators red, and you turned your indicators red, man. That vein is popping very far out of your forehead right now.
And then the mini rake's just sitting there after the gag.
Yep.
Yeah.
For the rest of the scene.
In a calm explanation, we had a great moment where they used the music to properly cast doubt on whether or not Sideshow Bob has been reformed or not. It's a great moment. It's the only point in that episode where they use the music, and it's perfect. It works brilliantly. Here, they just put it in because, hey, it's a Sideshow Bob episode. We may as well put in the Cape Fear music. Waka waka.
I gotta just point out quickly, I did like how they merged the Cape Fear music with like the orchestral arrangement of Pagliacci. But I did not like Krusty the Clown as Pagliacci.
Makes no sense.
Please buy the Cheetos at the front desk. Whatever the fucking parody lyrics were.
Yeah.
So forgettable. Alright. Not too long to shoot through the rest of these quotable moments.
So many more parts I hate.
I know. I hated the 2-year-old Barney that was getting drunk in the street.
It's okay, we got the cheese insurance.
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck?
What about the goat fucking being jealous at the woman dancing with Bart? That was weird.
Oh, what about Bob having his prison clothes underneath his regular clothes?
Oh,
Yes.
drunk Lisa revealing the whole fucking thing. That was so
What the hell?
No, not drunk Lisa.
Disgusting
Revealing the
delivery of
whole
that.
thing in English to a town that's been established to us that does not speak English.
There's no story here.
Yeah, it's so weak.
It's a rickety bridge that they're driving a Lamborghini Fastarosa on, and it's
And
crumbling.
Fast Rosa
down.
is a stupid name.
By the way, you guys groaned at the aqueduct bit. I didn't get it. What was that all about? Where they're driving on the aqueduct and they're like, "Oh, derpy derp. Oh, derpy derp."
I'm trying to remember. I both do and do not want to remember what
They're
they
driving away from Bob. They've
Yeah.
just on the turn. They're
said. And Lisa's
driving
like,
on the
Dad,
aqueduct.
you're on an aqueduct. That's what part of Italy is known for because the Romans instituted them. Oh, well, what are they supposed to do? Irrigate the land within the city? Walk, walk. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a shit joke. Didn't you listen to that? That was a shit joke.
That was
Yeah.
the joke. That was what I was
Dude,
trying to
like,
do.
I mean,
You've not missed
yeah.
anything because that's the thing. That's everything. Is they literally say, "Oh, stupid, lazy Romans! Why didn't they irrigate the entire cities?" I don't remember what he says, but it's something like, "What are they supposed to do? The exact thing they were built for."
That is a classic trope
He may have well.
type of joke, I guess, but their gag is, oh, why would Homer know this thing about Roman history? And he happens to get right, this obscure piece about Roman history. I suppose that's funny, sort of, but it just sounds like, oh, we looked this up on Wikipedia and copy-pasted it into the script.
Fucking too right.
So an example of that joke done well is the part in Archer where he doesn't know what his blood type is, but knows the person who invented blood types.
Yeah, no, that's
Not invented,
amazing.
discovered. That's a
like
great bit. But in this, he's just, I'm just going to randomly say words that apparently history lessons where everyone's fucking stupid.
It works much better the other way around.
I was going to say, I just read something on my notes that literally made me growl. Listeners can hear it back on the track. No, it's... okay. Bob goes quickly into... What does he say? There was a clown and I was framing him by robbing a Quickie Mart. Oh, it sounds so stupid when I say it out loud. I was like, you are making fun of brilliant episodes in an episode that is fucking
I know.
terrible.
Fuck you, right?
It's just, it's so
Much like the
infuriating.
Family Guy bit. You're trying to fucking take the high road against Family Guy and American Dad, which at that time, 2006, 2007...
We're doing better.
We're doing fucking better, much better work than you were doing. Like, and especially American Dad. I still defend that show to this day. Like, the episodes have gotten weaker, but at least they're still doing awesome fucking comedy that's driven by story.
Yeah.
Unlike Family Guy, who are only serving the gags, and it's... Ugh.
Lame. Yeah,
They
there's a lot
started
of...
out very strong as well. At this time, like the first few episodes of American Dad were their best, I think.
So anyway, look, we need to hit the questionnaire. We've gone dangerously over time on this one.
Expect more.
So have you guys seen this one before? Did you see it actually, Danny?
No, this was a fresh treat for me. This was
First time?
It was amazing, and the sort of experience I'm glad I've had, so that I can bitch about it later. I can bitch about this for the next 60 fucking years,
Oh, please.
Good
don't.
for you.
He
How
was
about
happy.
you, Beach? Have you seen this one before? Put a play count on it.
I have composed something for this.
Oh, great.
Oh dear.
Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, with the many quaint and curious television channels to explore, while I nodded, merely napping, suddenly there came a rapping of a Simpsons open tracking of a Danny Elfman score. 'Tis some episode, I muttered, adding to the Simpsons repertoire. This it is, and nothing more. Distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December, each sep and dying ender wrought its ghost upon the floor. But the episode of which I witnessed was a sinister gift for Christmas, burning brimstone of such shitness, of which Krampus had once brought upon and shat upon my floor.
Oh shit, man.
This it is, and nothing more.
Please don't, but feel free to drop that mic.
I mean, it's attached to a stand.
Feel free to drop it all. Just
It would.
kick it over.
I mean, that's like a minute of work.
Fuck, man, that was beautiful.
I can post that on the train on the way over. The question being, do I still hate this episode enough to recite that? Yes, I do. I wish I'd written more.
Yeah.
But I shan't. Evermore.
We don't want to watch this one again, do we?
I want to set it on fire and throw it into a pile of needles.
I literally can't think of a redeeming feature. I've got no good arguments for it,
No, even the jokes that I liked, I feel like were undercut by the jokes going on too long, or and things like that. Yeah, absolutely. Wackiness, fucking.
All of it, and it sucks balls.
This is like the remix of Boy-Yoing. Boy-Yoing, Boy-Yoing.
No, the reverse.
Played for 22 minutes. So it lacked good wackiness. The wackiness was to the detriment of the show. How about the heart? Feel some heart?
Where Sideshow Bob's son is a psychopath for no reason other than the fact he's Sideshow Bob's son, which is not how psychopathy works.
Hey.
Unless Bob
Okay.
has a chromosome deficiency, which you can tell by he and his brother that he does not, because that's not how genetics works.
Well, look, Sideshow Bob was down on one knee, begging for the life of his family. If that's not heart, then what is, man?
The thing that beats inside your chest and pumps blood into the various parts of your body.
Why do I even ask Beach these things?
I have detailed files on how the human
Well, let me
heart
ask you
works.
this thing. Did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
Elliot, did this show have heart? You haven't answered.
You know that scene where they show Mr. Burns' heart and it's just a little black fucking prune?
There are various versions of this joke, but yes.
That had 10 times more heart than this episode. No, this was disgusting. It moved through the paces so poorly, and no moment was earned. And like, while there were good turns, like Sideshow Bob steps on the grapes, earns respect of the Italians. It didn't mean he should be mayor. It means he should be
Grape
owner
guy.
of a wine thing.
Oh, hi, food.
Pause. Hello.
I bet it's
Down this. Wait, are you going to do it legit? We are back.
Are we finishing or are we eating pizza?
We're wrapping up, but yes.
And we just took a quick break because we had a pizza delivery.
Woo.
But no, we're getting into the ball's end of the questionnaire.
I knew he'd say that.
So speaking of which, Beach, what kind of balls did this thing suck?
Imagine a large, sweaty man, mostly covered in hair, went for a jog of about 8 minutes through a forest full of mostly shit and garbage, and when he got home, undressed himself, stood in front of you, and dipped his balls directly in your face, and somehow he has both brown and orange pubes. That's how much balls this sucked.
Both? Ew.
Both, and they're the size of chestnuts.
So did it feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
You know what they're doing?
Let's rank... Sorry.
You know they're doing that Halloween thing, and they say, "And these are the witch's brains," and they give you like spaghetti.
Sure.
And and these are the witch's eyes, and it's like grapes, and like, and this is the witch's shit, and then they gave you a copy of this episode.
You're holding the season 17 Blu-ray.
I feel you're harboring some sort of deep-seated
Oh,
resentment.
when I hate something, I hate it good.
Well, look, before we rank this episode, Danny, could you please express your hate?
Shit, man. I don't think I can express my hate in a way that I can...
Try, it's fun.
Well, look, to me, this doesn't feel like an episode of The Simpsons. It feels like every scriptwriter that worked for The Simpsons were in a bar one night, and then, like, they wake up, and none of them have any ideas for the episode, and one guy comes in and says, like, I found these scraps of shredded paper in the bathroom floor.
It was in all our pockets.
Like, it was covered in piss, and... I don't know. Let's just like stitch this shit together with some tape and fuck it. We'll call it an episode. We're done. Everybody, fucking margaritas at 5.
Call Kelsey Grammer. We're done.
Let's
Out.
go. This was
Call Kelsey Grammer, we're done.
Yeah,
That is depressing.
It wasn't paced like a Simpsons episode. It wasn't as funny as a Simpsons episode. None of the characters behaved as they would in a Simpsons episode. There was no sense of plot coherent to what I would come to expect from an episode, a good one especially. If this wasn't drawn with characters that I could visually recognize, I wouldn't have told you. If this was done with different voice actors and without the Simpsons characters, I wouldn't have known this was a Simpsons episode
You could translate this into something else, yeah.
That's for sure. So look, let's rank this thing. I forgot who I started out with last time.
Right. Let me see how my...
I think he's been saving up for this for a long time.
All right. BT, what did you think? No. This is the part where I say, BT, rank this motherfucker.
Failure.
Oh,
damn!
Really? Why would you give this thing a failure?
Well, it's really tough to really go through the Elliot J. O'Neill, but honestly, if I look through my notes of positives versus negatives, you see a definite imbalance towards the negative, and ultimately, it's a piece of shit and I hate it!
Just when I was about to say you are reasonably calm. Danny, what'd you think?
I've got to rate it a failure, man. I've got to.
Do we have a hyper failure? Just quickly.
It literally has no redeeming features.
Cubic failure.
There's in no way that I think of this as a good episode of anything, but as a Simpsons episode at all. It really makes me question my faith in this show as a whole. And that one episode can change me so dramatically really scares me. Could this have been... If this was written by a whole team of people that had never watched The Simpsons, I wouldn't have been surprised. If this was like some sort of sick fan base... You know when the fan base like writes a shitty episode and sees that they can get it voted in?
Yes, give in to your hatred.
It's tenuous connection to the series that I've grown up with my whole life. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's an insult. This feels like an insult to me.
I feel
as a human being.
weirdly good that we finally introduced him to one that deserves a failure.
Yeah.
We've had the debate and he's said before, you guys are giving this a lot better than I give it. What's coming? It's like, this is coming.
Because for me, like, I would probably say this is the worst I've seen since starting this podcast. And
yeah, look.
I happily give this a failure. And when I say happily, I mean that I can put this episode behind me and know that, like you said, there's no redeeming feature of it. There's no reason to go back and watch it again. The only good gags that I wrote down and had anything for were undercut by them going on too long or them introducing a joke element to the gag that I didn't like. And structurally, yes, this is a mess. It doesn't do it for me, guys.
Yeah, man. There's nothing good here.
Yeah.
No. All right, well, look, we better leave this behind. Now, We are going to go to an episode that, in the last time us three met, Beej, you said you nothing to this episode, and I mentioned that I quite like this one. This is the Bob Next Door. Now, I don't think you've seen it, Danny, so we won't describe it just yet. We'll let you see it with fresh eyes and see what you think. How's that sound?
I'm always ready for excitement. Oh, shit, man. I'm the deciding vote. I'm already the deciding vote.
Well, I said I nothinged it.
Well, look,
nothing
we
alone.
haven't watched the episode yet, so we'll wait and do the decision process before we make it the deciding vote.
You also have to remember I'm kind of a nothing person. People are like, hey, there's a rainbow. I'm like, it reminds me of nothing but melancholy.
Bleak, man. Do you need to hug?
I wrote poetry based on Edgar Allan Poe about this episode. No, I'm good.
You do need to hug.
This guy
Come
needs
on,
to hug.
he
We're
needs
going to
to
have
hug.
some hugs,
solid.
and we're just going to snuggle up on the couch and watch this next
No, we're not.
episode. Shag,
I'll watch from outside.
make some cocoa, buddy. Indeed. Everybody ready? And we are back, and we just watched Season 21, Episode 22, The Bob Next Door, as it is known, the one where Sideshow Bob does a face-off parody. Guys, what did you think?
It was okay.
How about you, Danny?
You know, I liked it a lot more than I was expecting to. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Felt a lot more like a Simpsons episode.
Yeah, sure.
Is it like a pacing thing, do you think? Or is it just like in the style
It's
of
just
humor?
a structure thing, and
was not a
the way the
structural
jokes
mess.
are given to you, I
Yeah.
suppose.
The pacing was a lot better. Like, just the time between jokes or the time kept on each shot before the next shot. or the
And
way
characters felt like themselves for
Yeah.
the most part, yeah.
It was really different to what we just watched before, in terms of coherency. And I thought, I mean, it wasn't groundbreaking, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Got some jokes, yeah.
And really skirted the line of like doing gross jokes and good jokes with the whole, face coming off thing. And I really like the waitress's line, oh, all the good men are either gay or have no face.
Yeah, that was great. Also,
Yeah.
Face Off's an old movie by this point, right?
Yeah, like 96?
At least 10 or
I would say?
15 years.
98?
Yeah. This would have to be like
Well,
2010,
it
right?
wasn't a direct, like they didn't copy any scenes particularly. It was more conceptual, I suppose.
Yeah.
And swapping your face for another man's face is a tale as old as time. It's how I became the man I am today.
Why would you say that? You're a robot. So, Danny, seeing as though it's just you and me from now on.
These will
May
never
always
die.
have been.
Rebooting.
So yeah, beginning of the episode, talking about jokes I liked. I liked they're letting out low-level criminals, and then you see the guy puts 10 cents in the newspaper stand, takes out all the newspapers.
Oh,
Monster should never
crook.
be released.
Yep, and then the guy who's taking a couple of grapes from the supermarket.
Apu with a shotgun is always delicious.
yeah, just spit them right back in there.
Yeah. What other parts of this episode did you guys like?
I think they didn't overdo that. It wasn't just put the grapes back in there, now mix them up so no one can tell, and let's do a close-up on the grapes being mixed, which it feels like they would have done in their dark age. Here
Sure.
it was just the joke and then it ended.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
they didn't do more.
And in that same vein, the fractions joke where, the Simpsons are about to get new neighbors and Marge goes, oh my god, who's next door? What if it's 4 teenage bards? And then she has a fantasy of 4 teenage bards pulling Skinner in each one of his 4 limbs, and he's like, well, at least they're learning their fractions.
Yeah,
I like
which
that joke.
Feels like it would be Skinner, yeah.
That's a little cute joke.
It's like she's like, even my fantasy Skinner behaves the way he would.
And I thought, though, when Walt, what's his name, moved in next door, though, when he moved in and goes, hello, Bart, and then they really make sure you realise that Bart thinks he's Sideshow Bob.
Yeah.
Thought that was a little
Way
bit
too
too
early.
forced. But Marge goes, oh, he's got a nice voice, like Frasier from Frasier, or Frasier from Cheers, or something
Captain
from
Whatever
that
from
movie."
Periscope Down, the only movie I can think of other than the X-Men that Kelsey Grammer's been in.
I wish it was, oh, like Beast from X-Men.
Yeah.
Hank McAvoy? What's his full name in X-Men? Beast. It's Hank something.
McAvoy is the last name of the guy who plays Professor X in real life.
Of course it is.
It's Hank McCoy, I believe, is the full name of Beast.
I both liked and didn't like the silhouette gag that Homer looks into Flanders' house and It's
Oh.
like,
Yeah, it
oh
was-
my god, why can't things be boobs or ice cream?
I get redeemed by the line, why can't things be boobs or ice? So, yeah, Homer... Okay, Bart sees a silhouette of Sideshow Bob, but it's actually his new neighbor Walt carrying a... What was he carrying a mop. But then cuts to Homer, who's looking through Flanders' window, and it looks like a sexy lady with boobs who's Flanders unloading 2 armfuls of what he thinks is ice cream, but it's actually frozen yogurt.
Non-fat frozen yogurt.
Oh, thank
But I
God.
do like the line, yeah, why can't things be boobs or ice cream? We've all felt that way about something, whether it wasn't boobs or ice cream at some point.
So around about this point, Bart's trying to set up a sting for his neighbor Walt to admit he's actually Sideshow Bob, and there's this bit that I wrote down, Milhouse shut up, where Milhouse keeps going on with like Gilbert and Sullivan references, and I actually didn't like that whole bit. It felt like it was very much, hey, remember the Strength of the Cape Fear bit where we reference Gilbert and Sullivan? And I liked the gag where Walt, aka Bob, but Walt, comes out and goes, oh, free Wi-Fi for the neighborhood. And
Yeah, but you get...
there was a great Lenny line there. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, no, I wonder because it was another example of Lenny just leading the most boring existence possible.
Yeah,
Something
absolutely.
magical about Lenny, right? He's
Ah.
like the anti-character.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
just, what's he doing? Damn it. Gonna bother me. No, he's like,
But no, you're right. Even
that's right. It was, well, I can't, wow, free Wi-Fi, and my package has been delayed.
But no, you're right. Like, even in this golden era, like, just putting a little bit of value in Lenny as a side character with no, like, real defining characteristics, like, that's what makes him such a great character.
Please don't tell people how I live.
Yeah, that one day he can live next to a highlight court, or, you know, be the type of character where the kid's like, not Lenny!
That's what makes that bit good, because he's such a nothing character.
Yeah. And, when he gets a HD TV, he throws a party for it. That's another great new season episode that I love. So they go. Marge takes Bart to the prison to prove that Sideshow Bob is still in prison. And there's this bit where the guard's objectifying her, you know, going, hot lady walking through,
Yeah.
strapless dress, only held on by her melons.
Sorry, I actually really like that bit. I don't take it as objectification. I take it as the opposite of everything they do in prison movies. Like, okay, remember, no strapless shoes. They go crazy for that kind of thing, so make sure you're wearing covered shoes. And you walk through, do not look left or right. You walk straight ahead. Stay away from the mad something or other. He'll just throw sperm at you.
Right.
You know, which that happens in fucking Silence of the Lambs. So I like this as the opposite, where he's like, pretty lady walking through, wearing a strapless dress. Nothing is holding up the dress except her melons. It's just, I like goading the ball there. It's funny.
Yeah, and even if you like do find a problem with that, like starting gag when they're walking back through, when she goes, "Hey, everybody, I'm married."
You're like, oh well.
Yeah, and then the prisoners all pull in their arms back into their cages. That's like a nice redemption for the potential sexism of the joke.
Yeah, I also like, well, the downside of that, they have it on that earlier and better, where the guy's like, listen, lady, I always get what I want. I said no. Oh, did you? I'm completely misunderstood.
Yeah.
Please accept my apology.
Yeah, the misogynist can quickly turn around that quickly.
But no, I take this less as an objectification joke, more as a opposite play on the usual thing you see in prison movies, where they're always telling women to dress down because these men are hardened criminals who would take any moment to take advantage of you. So make sure you wear some covering up all the way and no open-toed shoes. I swear that no open-toed shoes is a part of some movie I can't remember. But anyway.
Sure. And another one of those sort of flipped jokes that I like is where Walt invites Bart to the baseball game and Bart's excited, Mom, can I go? And Marge goes, is your room clean? And he's like, no. And she's like, good, give me something to do while you're at the baseball game. You know,
It's cute.
yeah, it's a nice, fun flip joke. How you doing there, man?
Ladies
yeah.
and gentlemen, Danny is kind of falling asleep.
No, I'm still here.
It's alright, we can put in for your voice. We're pretty sure I know how it goes. It sounds mildly Canadian for some reason.
Well, what I think is we should give this episode a silver.
Oh, that's a boot, right?
Whoa. Whoa, man. Come on. Don't go taking crazy pills.
I will quickly, right? I underline this because this is a good point. The Cape Fear music is used effectively in this episode because when you think Sideshow Bob has escaped custody and runs out to go to the Simpsons house, they play the music as in, this is the ominous tone. At that point, you believe maybe this is Sideshow Bob. It's used as a great misdirect for the eventual reveal that, no, they've done a face-off thing. Yeah. That's how you do it, frickin' Italian Bob. None of your bullshit we play it because he's in the episode.
No, absolutely. And, yeah, with, like, it felt a bit forced with Sideshow Bob explaining his plan to Bart. You know, about how he stole the face and everything, but you do have to explain it, I suppose. I really liked it, and you know, Sideshow Bob biting his knuckles as he's cutting off his own face, and he drops his face, and he goes dusts it off, and goes, 5-second rule. No,
the bit where he's like, after a lifetime of being pied in the face by Krusty, had left nerve endings my face completely numb. Also, I thought, yeah,
really good. And,
not really good, but acceptable.
It was acceptably good.
Yeah, it was surprising. After the last one, it was pretty surprising.
Yeah. I don't know, Bart makes a joke about the housing market again in 2009. It's like, come on, rich Simpsons writers.
Yeah.
A lot of people are suffering right now. Like, don't fucking make these jokes.
You could rent until the market recovers, which is never. Waka waka waka. How do I know this? I'm dumb and 10.
Yeah. You should watch The Big Short on Netflix. It sort of puts it in a good perspective.
No.
It's a good movie.
I don't like you telling me what to do.
Christian Bale, man. He plays a guy with a glass eye.
Does he play Batman?
No.
The Batman of at the housing market.
I'm going to watch this movie. There's no Batman. I will come back. I will beat you.
No, a metaphorical Batman.
Well, gee.
You can draw metaphorical links between Christian Bale's character in The Big Short and Batman.
I can draw metaphorical links between Christian Bale's Batman and real-life Christian Bale if I want to. It doesn't make it any more compelling.
And we're back.
Yeah, no. Try and draw a comparison between Christian Bale's Batman and Mary Poppins.
Well, I mean, that's pretty obvious.
Is it?
Yeah, they can both fly, sort of. They change lives for the better, and can probably punch a dude really hard. I've never seen Mary Poppins take a swing. Oh, they both defeat penguins. Boom.
Oh, snap. Yeah, and I like Bob's plan with the 5 states. You know, not one crime is illegal in each.
Which I feel like was a result of a writer visiting that point in the states. You think there's only 4 states and going,
yeah,
I could kill people here. Which is all Simpsons writers do, and apparently that doesn't actually exist. But anyway.
Well, yeah, surely they're sadistic or homicidal at this point. But I didn't like the whole, you know, and this will be the something till Snape kills Dumbledore. Like, it felt like they were just trying to get to the spoiler.
We're so relevant.
Yeah. And yeah, even they pointed it out. At that point, it was like a 4 or 5-year-old book. Like, yeah, I don't know. To me, it felt like a tired reference there.
It was. It felt like a tired reference because it was.
And also, one of the other things I didn't like about this episode, and I've seen it done in other later Sideshow Bob episodes, is they sample the rake noise. You know, the noise that the Sideshow Bob made when the rake hit him. Because he can't replicate that anymore. No, we saw it last time in the Treehouse of Horror episode where he tried to replicate it, didn't sound right, and then they sampled it, and it sounded like there was tape hiss on it. Like, that's how...
Because you want the exact same sound, and I'm sure it was just, he did it once and has no idea how he did it again.
Yeah, but like, here's me just trying to go for it.
No, you're wrong. It's got lower I look forward to hearing this again in the after credits.
Yeah, I'll be remixing this. I didn't like the Mexican taco gag with Homer, and that felt really lame.
Yeah, it was a dumb bit. Like, they went to Mexico? What?
So anyway, when the cops finally catch up to Bob, you know, there's a pretty good bit with Clancy, but... Then, you know, the cops from 5 states come along, and then also, the Jersey cops are coming here to get some fun cake and go down the door. How fast is Homer
driving? Because in one day he goes to Mexico and back from what has to be New York, kind of borderland.
Yeah, I guess this is where my problems with the episode sort of come in, because I didn't like the beginning and I didn't like the ending because they have the 5 cops come in and they do the 5 cops, 5 different states, 5 stereotype jokes, and then they take Bob with Walt's face still on away without doing a face swap back. Like,
Or fingerprints.
yeah, to me it felt like a little unfinished.
Also,
and
at the
a bit
diner,
rushed to the end.
Bob's face comes off and he resecures it with a belt, but later on the belt is around his pants.
Yeah.
Are we to believe that this is some kind of magical face?
Yeah. So I guess, like, my main thing with this episode, it did a lot of things that I like, but it wasn't backed up with a lot of jokes that I liked, and a very unsatisfying start and end to it. It had a particularly strong middle, I'd say.
That's I think it's a fair assessment. You get into it, once you're into it, there's a lot of fun, and then it just, flattens out.
Yeah. So, Danny, had you seen this episode before?
Why, yes, I have.
Oh my god, has he literally fallen asleep while we've been talking?
Why, yes, he has.
You don't need to impersonate him.
I'm not impersonating anybody.
Neither that, or he's... How many times have you seen this episode, buddy?
Not enough, bro. Not enough.
Not enough. How about you, man? How many times do you reckon?
Once before, I'm pretty sure that's it.
I'd say this is about a 5, maybe a 6 for me. I remember putting it on a lot in the day, but I don't actually remember disliking it this much. I remember liking it more.
Well, you're looking at it through a different lens, and you're not just,
That's true. Yeah.
lying on the couch kind of stoned. You're looking at it through the critical eye.
Still kind of stoned.
Well, I mean, that's a given.
So, do you see yourself watching this episode again?
Unless we're doing a Sideshow Bob special again, I don't see a reason to seek it out.
Yeah, I might, because, like I said, there was a lot that I liked in this episode. So, maybe again. Let's talk about the wackiness. So, the wackiness existed in the whole crime face-off thing.
Pretty much. I mean, how Bob goes from his cell to advanced lab and somehow performs neurosurgery on himself.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all very comedically delivered, but I don't feel like it ever, unlike the Italian Bob, ever made me stop and question the plot.
Yeah, you were more like, logically this makes no sense, but screw it, let's just keep going. I mean, that's fine. At that point, you're kind of having fun. So you're on board with the ride. It does get flat, but you're like, okay, this is what's happening, let's just do it.
Enough jokes to still make it fun, yeah, absolutely. Just quickly, I hated it, the ending with Ned too.
It's not the worst ending.
Well, maybe, I don't know. It wasn't too bad, I guess, but definitely was not great.
It was pretty mediocre.
Thank you for your contribution to this conversation, Danny.
No problem.
Have you got anything else to say on the wackiness, Danny?
I like how they had the minor offender early release. That was mildly amusing.
Yep.
And that's all I've got written down. Oh, so you mind if I take over? Well, I don't mind, but it's kind of rude. Look, you're obviously sleepy. I don't want to, you know what, I'll just take a nap. Okay, that's fine. Look, I like how when he's coming out of prison, he's like, and he is $127,000. Like, well, it was only 37 when I came in. Well, yeah, we invested that wisely for you. It was...
Loved that joke.
You know, we're going to take your stuff, but we're going to work with it. As in, that's just an implied aspect of prison.
And then he didn't take a commission as well. Like, it's a fantastic follow-up
I
joke.
don't think
to
that's
that.
a little gauche. I mean, I don't.
What does gauche mean? I don't
Like kind of like faux pas, as in.
Oh, right. So, yeah, what about the heart? Did you feel any heart in this episode?
Not really.
No.
I mean, even his heart on for killing wasn't there.
No, it was a bit sort of more serving the joke episode. It wasn't really... The story wasn't as strong in this episode as I would have normally liked. Did it feel like an episode of The Simpsons, though?
Not really. It's close.
Yeah, I think it did. I
Like-
didn't think anyone was off point.
Not off point, but
And
just
I didn't think the structure of the story was completely
they
off.
felt kind of like caricatures of themselves. Like
Sure.
Homer going to Mexico because he doesn't believe the waitress, and he's going to talk about tacos, and it's like, and I like Bob, at least it's the original plan for Bob. That's something we haven't seen for a while.
Yeah, I'll give it
But,
that at least.
Yeah, Bart just suddenly being on board with this and being excited about the isotopes and...
No, but he never trusted Walt, and he already put in the call to the
What?
cops beforehand.
And the
That
cops
was-
were competent, so that's pretty unlike them.
Well, Clancy can bring him to the...
Every now and then. He has to be told directly.
Yeah.
Aha, thank God you crashed near this whorehouse.
Totally. So do you have any other quotable moments you want to point out?
My only real note was good men, gay, no face. So yeah,
Whatever that means.
Why are the good men only gay or have no face?
Oh, right. Yeah.
How did you forget that so quickly? You quoted it yourself. Dude, that's rude.
Danny, seriously, man, I've had enough of your shit
Waka,
right now.
waka, waka.
Let's rank
rank
this
this.
thing.
Let's rank this.
Let's rank this thing.
I was on a participant. Honestly, I'm participant. It's not a failure. I don't hate it. I don't want to throw things at it.
Sure.
It just, there are some decent laughs, but for the majority of it, I still really do like pretty lady walking through.
Yeah.
It just amuses me. But everything else is just kind of there, and it's fine.
How about you, Shag? We need you alive for just this bit, buddy.
Oh, hang on. I'll just punch myself in the face to wake up.
Let's rank this thing. What do you rank it, buddy?
It's new, deep and dark and horrible. I won't do it justice. I don't even need minutes back. Gone like sands in the hourglass.
And we're back.
Elliot, what do you think?
Well, I think that it's time for you to rank this thing. What do you rank it, buddy?
To me, this is fairly middle of the road. I'd say this is like a 4 out of 6. 17 out of 32.
That's pretty decent.
So, given our scale and how we work things in medals,
Oh, it's a 2.25 out of 4.61.
God damn it. What about the Daniel Rosewell 3-star system?
Doesn't come into play when there's not an awning. I thought that was obvious.
God damn, this is why you have the 3-star. For those playing at
Elliot,
home, the Daniel
Tell me about
Rosewell
the episode.
3-star...
What did you think?
Way to just talk over me.
hey, I did that bit. Overall, it had a lot of good gags, but not a strong start and not a strong end, but a very strong middle.
I wouldn't say very strong middle.
Strong,
middle.
a strong enough middle. It had the thickness of custard.
Like a snake that swallowed a grapefruit, it had a strong middle. I'll say myself out.
What are you ranking it, man?
I reckon Out of Tonight is the worst one we've done.
Worst?
Oh, sorry. Which one are we talking about? No. not the
Bob
last
Next
one.
Door, Face Off.
Look, the face-off one was sillier than I've come to expect for The Simpsons. But I thought the pacing felt like The Simpsons. I thought the gags were in character. I enjoyed it. It was a wholesome rom. Bit silly. But yeah, definitely like maybe a bronze.
You're giving it a bronze? That's the official...
I think I'm gonna do it, man.
Wow, you're the deciding vote now, Elliot. Let's not put any pressure upon your shoulders.
It's a participant, and I hate to say it because I looked pretty favourably on this episode in the past, and even recommending it and saying, one of the good Sideshow Bob ones, but yeah, it didn't do it for me in the way that most, but yeah, it feels right as a participant. I didn't hate it. I may revisit it again, I'm not sure, but ultimately...
I feel like it's a high participant or a
Yeah.
low bronze, but it's...
when we're talking about individual feelings, I'd like to be at a participant, but for me personally, it's more in the participant shoebox.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, that feels fair. I think about the ones we've bronzed compared to the ones we participated, and yeah, that's why it sticks in bronze. You guys are crazy. It's clearly a bronze.
So 2 participants and a bronze. It's probably where it should stick in the overall things. Anyway, and that does it for episode 19 of the Simpsons Index.
Wow.
BT, thank you for joining me tonight.
This show can legally drink.
It can. In Canada now, too. And Danny, thank you for joining me as well.
Oh, of course.
Joining, but I was there.
That doesn't sound like you. Alright, and that does it for episode 19 of The Simpsons Index. Of course, I've been your host, Elliot J. O'Neill, and everybody out there, I've got some news for you.
What's that?
I ain't tapping out.
Then you tap your keyboard.
Thank you for checking out the Simpsons Index podcast. Don't forget to go to www.thesimpsonsindex.com for the spreadsheet and information about upcoming episodes.
I look forward to hearing this again in the after credits bit.
And I couldn't. No, sorry, cut all this.
You never do. I don't know why you say that.
I know, right?
And we're back.
I'll just
Maybe
put it at the end
Bob-
of the episode.